Today on Riffs, Spirits, and Gear, Mike and I read your spicy guitar gear opinions, of which there are many.
So mean.
So mean. Okay, so in the world of literally anything these days, it doesn't even matter if it's guitar related or not. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone loves to talk about their opinions on just about anything. And so I thought it would be potentially fun to make a post on my Facebook asking what guitar gear you guys hated. These are your comments, not ours. We do not share these opinions. Maybe we'll share some. We will see. And we got over 1,000 responses in like a day. So we are going to read, we picked 13 of our favorites, and we will read them, and then we will discuss to see if we agree or disagree. And maybe you have made the first episode of Spicy Guitar Opinions. Sean says, active pickups. There's just so many qualities of passive that you can't replicate. Ooh,
That's the point, isn't it?
That's spicy.
I mean,
just active pickups. You know what? Classic EMG sound is a vibe. If you're in the mood for that.
Look, forever I was like, no active pickups. And then I flew down to LA to do a gig, and I brought one guitar and I needed a backup. Yamaha gave me an SG that had EMGs in it.
Oh, whoa. Cool.
And they were doing that in like 2011. They made an SG with EMGs in it. It sounded so much better than my other one. I was like, I'm going to play this. It was killer. So I was an instant convert.
Yeah. It's a specific flavor for sure, but there's a time and a place for active pickups, Sean. Reconsider.
Yeah, buddy. What do you have against batteries?
Joshua says, those solid state orange heads. Now, Joshua, the Super Crush was pretty damn good for, at the time, it was $450, I think, when I did the original demo back in 2012. I'm sure it's more now, but that was a great head.
It's not going to sound like a tube head. Sure.
It's not supposed to.
Right.
Also, good enough for Kirk Weinstein, good enough for me. That's what I say.
Also, our boy from Dead Pioneers plays one, right?
Yes. Yes, he does.
He sounds killer.
Yeah, he sounded really killer.
So I disagree.
Wow. Strong opinions. All right. Victor says, Strat volume knob placement.
100%.
Agreed.
Victor, you ding, 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 ding.
We will not be taking any additional comments or questions.
Right.
The Strat volume.
Let's go on lunch break.
Yeah, let's go. It's time for lunch. The Strat volume placement is probably one of the worst decisions ever in guitar design.
For guys like you and me, the Strat, that thing is for a guy who plays it up here, and he's.
I understand that.
Like, it's for like.
It's for
Jeff
country
Beck.
Twanger guys too.
Jeff Beck to do his weird. Like that guy's a master.
God.
Me, I'm a caveman. Like, I hate.
Agree.
Hate.
Wow. Okay. Victor, well done. Real quick, I wanted to pause the video and point out that over 50% of the viewers on this or any other video on my channel are unsubscribed. And the best way to support what I'm doing here is to simply click that subscribe button, leaving a comment, or thumbs upping the video if you've liked what you've seen. So please consider subscribing to further support what I'm doing here on the channel. Back to the video. My buddy Tim, shout out to Tim, Fit for an Autopsy Boys, says soft cases for pedal boards. Ooh, I have my opinions on this. Mr. Tour Guy, what do you think?
Well, currently I'm touring as a bass player, and so my pedal board needs are very minimal.
Sure.
And to keep everything, to keep the costs down, I have 2 check bags. I have my check-in suitcase, my double gator, shout out to Gator, and then I carry on whatever the little, what is it called, a Metro?
Yeah.
I carry on it, pedal train Metro and my little tiny backpack. And so that is a soft case. It's the only soft case pedal board that I own. All my others are, and I even ditched, you know, the one that looks kind of like a briefcase. I only use the road case.
Are you not concerned about getting crushed or squished or anything like that?
I carry it.
You have to put it somewhere, or you're probably having it in your lap the whole time.
It goes in the overhead.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So politely disagree, Tim.
With small pedal boards. What about a larger pedal board?
No, agree for larger. But
so you're half and half. He doesn't specify the pedal board size.
That's right.
And he tours with the Quad Cortex.
That's a little more fragile than what I tour with.
Yeah.
And he probably checks.
I'm going to have to agree with Tim. I don't like soft cases of any kind, personally.
Really?
No, I hate them.
What about local gig?
Nope.
You don't double gig bag?
No.
I've done
No, I have a guitar boat. I have a Gator guitar boat. I'll just load that.
I've done 3 world tours, 3 continent tours with a double gig bag.
Soft cases are terrible.
I carry them on. Save a lot of money.
Don't care.
Bottom line, baby.
Oh, okay. Joshua says the original pod beam from line 6. How do you feel about that, Mike?
Josh.
Hard disagree, Josh.
Yeah,
Here's why.
How old are you, Josh?
Josh is probably 30.
Right. So you don't remember a time in the world when the pod didn't exist. When that thing came along, we were all like,
oh my God.
Whoa.
Oh my God. It revolutionized everything. We wouldn't be here in the digital space that we are in today without the pod, because previous to that, if you wanted an amplifier that you could afford as a kid, it was either a PV Rage or a Marshall half stack. That was, or a crate.
Yeah.
That was literally it. Maybe a pig nose, maybe, but that was still kind of looked at as like a novelty kind of a thing. No one wanted to show up with a pig snout for a volume knob thing, you know, whatever. The pod beam changed everything.
And there, we could go online and check it, but there are some major label records where the pod beam amp models were used to track complete albums.
We will never know the untold albums that the pod was on. Joey Sturgis, whom I used to work with JST Tones, he was the purveyor of the modern metalcore tone, and that's all he used exclusively for like a decade with the Devil Wears Prada and loads of bands. He told me after the fact, it's like, yeah, it was all pod.
It's amazing.
What an incredible piece of kit. So Josh, disagree. Fede, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, says, Snark tuners, you know it, I know it, we all know it.
We all do know it.
I mean, come on.
No, man.
They're a cheap tuner that does the job until it breaks from regular use.
Okay, context. If you're sitting at home at the kitchen table or at your desk, sure.
I would never tour
on
with
stage? No. No. And also, for the record, there are versions that you can put on the headstock that the Diodario. That screws. It's killer. I have one on one of my basses.
I'm a polytuner
love it.
myself.
But you don't see it. It screws under the back of your headstock, and it's just as effective as a Snark.
For laying around the house, I think they're fine. Anything more than that,
I don't want to see it on stage. I don't want to see it on stage. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a Snark on a guitar on stage. It makes you look like a chump.
Okay. Well, I guess we're agreeing with that. Donovan says, those simulated outs on amps that sound like ass balls.
What do ass balls sound like?
You know what? I don't know. What do they taste like, though?
I'm glad we didn't step in it. Man, if it smells like ass balls and tastes like ass balls, must be ass balls.
That's right. The simulated outs on amps, a lot of the times aren't great. There are exceptions, of course. Rev Amplifiers has a dedicated impulse loader on it.
Right.
That you can load stuff, right, as you would, you know, a standalone torpedo captor or something like that.
I think he's probably talking about the 80s and 90s amps that had the
or modern Mesa Boogie stuff that has, like, you know, the cab clone out, which is just filtered It's just filtered noise, basically, with an EQ curve on it to kind of simulate an SM57.
As a kid who would run his guitar out of that into the PA with the, you know, the tall, skinny PA speakers and jam inside of a trailer, I would have to agree. They really do sound like those things sound terrible. Yeah. Donovan, you're you know, you're right on the money, buddy.
You're right. Liav says lunchbox style amps. Mike.
Bullshit. No way, dude. I mean, I can name 5 lunchbox amps right off the top of my head that are absolutely killer.
I was actually on his side for a long time until they, in my opinion, the initial lunchbox craze, which was, you know, basically kicked off with Orange's Tiny Terror.
Yep.
A lot of them weren't that great.
Sure.
The Orange Tiny Terror was a great amp. I'm saying, you know, the subsequent companies that tried to do the lunchbox style stuff were not great. I think lunchbox amps have only gotten good in the last 5-6 years.
I was even mad at the orange lunch. I was just like, it looks stupid. It looks stupid. I want a box. But when you are thinking about production,
sure,
like you're saving money, like you're getting a sound for much less money because you're not having to build a wood box.
Yeah.
And anyway, and these amps are redesigned. Victories, a bunch of Victories are killer.
Victories are killer.
You can get every satellite amp in a lunchbox format now, which
I didn't know that.
All of them, cool. Dude. It's so sick. I'm trying to add them. Send us some amps,
satellite, bro.
Lunchbox style amps. I mean, I use Bass Terror as a backup.
Yeah.
That's
great amp. Okay.
No, buddy.
Liav, we disagree. James says, anything by Line 6 and I will die on that hill. James, you're dying alone.
Where do we send your white cross?
That's right. Helix, killer. Podbean, goated. The G series wirelesses?
All day. I've been using that Line 6 wireless, the same unit since 2012.
I was gonna say like, 11, 12. Like
I've been the same one. I just replaced it because there's, you know, too much
aged out now. Yeah.
No, buddy. No way.
Love Line 6.
All of the from the flagship Helix down to the HX1, they're all killer.
Yep.
I mean,
have they been perfect the whole time?
No.
Of course not.
I would play that stupid Variax guitar.
Nope.
Why?
Nope. It's ugly as hell, for one.
Not all of them.
The ones I have seen are.
What about the 9-foot Ninja guy? His version?
No.
I like it.
I don't like it. Nope.
Well, James.
It looks like a Toys R Us guitar. I don't like
it does a little bit.
Yeah.
James, get stuffed.
Yeah. Corn says, any pick holder that gets stuck onto a guitar, the double back tape, classic, spring loaded. I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Why do those exist? Those aren't meant to be on the guitar, are they?
They're supposed to be on a guitar.
They're supposed to be like on an amp or like something. I don't know what.
When you stick one of those on your guitar, you look like
you started playing yesterday?
You look like you started playing yesterday, but also you drive a truck to practice. It's got like every bar with all the lights and the ground lights and like
ground effects on your pickup.
You know, no. You know how I keep picks on my instruments? A piece of gaff tape rolled up lengthwise on the headstock by the tuner. Bing, 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 bing.
Yep.
And then you're playing, and you can, because I throw a lot of picks, and
I do too,
and I'm dead.
Okay, we'll see.
I can point at someone 25 feet away and hit them in the chest.
Cool. I always kept them on my my 212 cab right behind me. I used to tape and then.
I also have that.
Or stuff them in the grill.
I've gone through a lot of picks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Corn.
Agree.
We agree.
Yeah. Don't look stupid.
And last but not least, Joseph says Gibson's robotic tuners. He hates them.
Well,
listen.
Nobody likes them.
I have never met. I have met one person that was like, I don't know, man. I think they're all right. I have them on my guitar. if you're doing, for some reason, if you're like, oh, I want to be in this tuning today, or I want to be in that tuning today, or I don't feel like turning a tuning peg, then fine. Gibson did make the tonical auto-tuning thing. They did give them a bad name because that was an existing product before Gibson adopted them for all the guitars.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that was the thing you could retrofit onto your existing guitar.
They all fail. Like, they don't work. A buddy of mine just bought one because he was like, I'm gonna buy a funny guitar, but also I have these guitars that I'm all like in the middle of my show. I've got all these different tunings. I never remember them. He's not a very focused guy. And he's like, this is the solution, except, well, it showed up and it doesn't work. It failed.
I actually have had experience with them, just messing around with them. They actually don't work and will not pick up the vibration of your guitar if you're on stage sound checking and something louder is coming over the PA, right? Some low frequency thing, it'll...
So you gotta be, okay, everyone.
Hang on, I gotta tune real quick. Okay, Joseph, Gibson's robotic tuners, yeah, we hate those two, we agree.
They weren't even the worst part of Gibson at that time, at that particular time.
All right, and that does it for episode 1 of Spicy Guitar Opinions, I think is what we're gonna call it.
It's pretty fun.
Pretty fun. Some spicy ones for sure. However, if you have your own spicy gear opinion, leave a comment down below. Maybe you'll be on a future episode. And with that, I've been Fluff.
I've been Mike.
We'll see you next time.